Hey guys, Phil here at Woods Tree Farm. I made a discovery with the tractor that I wish I had discovered 2 years ago when we first got this tractor. Stick around, share with you what I learned. So on our property here, we've got a 43-acre Christmas tree farm, and we do a few different events throughout the year. We sell Christmas trees at Christmas time, we do flowers in the summertime, we open up for a couple other events here and there. So this area up here is near our entrance. This is our parking area. We've got about an acre here cleared, and we actually have 2.5 acres all the way to the road. So in the future, as we grow, if we need to clear more for more parking, we can that way, and that will be our plan. But right now, I cover our entire parking area and wood chips because we get all these wood chips for free from tree companies. I've got piles and piles and piles of them. This spring I'm going to start selling composted wood chips to gardeners, but anyway, we've got these piles up here. So as the parking area sees use, and if people come in here when it's wet, it might create some ruts and stuff. But anyway, I cover all this in wood chips, and what I have to do every, I don't know, 3 or 4 months or so, I have to come back in and throw down some more wood chips in areas that have seen a lot of use. So we just got done with Christmas season, obviously. We're here in middle of January. So what I've just done is dumped, I didn't even count, but 6 or 7 buckets full of wood chips here along this area. Right here I've got a rope, and this kind of delineates the middle of our parking area, and cars will pull up to this rope head first, or they'll back up to the rope, either one. And so this is kind of the most heavily used part of the parking lot here. And from cars going in and out and foot traffic going in and out, this area has gotten beat down the most. So we're going to add some wood chips here, and there's a couple thin areas over there and over there that I need to work on as well, and I'll do some of that today. But the tractor function that I wanted to tell you about is the float function on the loader is working really well for spreading these wood chips. I don't know why I never thought to do this before, but anyway, it works really well. So I'm going to show you today what I do. You see the first thing is obviously dropping all of these wood chips, but then I'm going to use the float function to smooth these wood chips out. Just in case you don't know what the float function is, I think every compact tractor, at least every one that I'm familiar with, has a loader with a float function on it. So you just got to figure out how to activate that float function. The Kubota compacts and subcompacts that I have checked out, and obviously I bought this one and I've had it 2 years, they all kind of work the same way. So you have your standard loader function to curl or drop the bucket here by moving the joystick left or right. You can lift your loader by pulling up. You can drop your loader by pushing forward. But you can go into float mode by going beyond that forward motion. So you'll start to feel some pressure. You push through that pressure, and there's kind of a little feeling of a click in there. It's not really a click so much as like you're pushing in a valve. And by doing that, you're releasing all the hydraulic pressure on the front of the loader. And what that allows the bucket to do is to lift or drop with varying terrain. It allows the bucket to float. And I've used this function a few times before with varying degrees of success for different uses. The challenge I have on my property is that nothing is flat at all. So when you go into float mode, if you don't have your bucket at exactly the right level on uneven ground, as soon as you hit a rise, if your bucket's too low, it's just going to dig in. And if your bucket is too high, you're just going to end up moving the bucket above whatever material you're trying to move. All right, there we go, all around me, fresh layer of wood chips. What I really like about this method versus what I've done before is that I can really put down a good like couple inches, 3-4 inches maybe 2 to 3 is more average. What I was doing previously, where I'd dump and use the rake, or dump and I had another homemade drag that I did a while ago, those would always just leave like a really thin coat of chips. And they also, if there was ever like any big piles dropped by the loader, those other methods didn't do a good job at spreading out the heavy piles. They would just kind of bounce over the heavy piles. So this way really grabs any of the heavy piles and then drags them and smooths them out and deposits those heavy piles over a much larger area. So now this whole area here has several inches of fresh chips. There's just a couple little spots where maybe there's like a little ridge or something, and if you come up here in your car you're gonna feel that little bump, but not that big a deal. And what I've been able to do elsewhere when something like that happens, first of all, I'm just going to let it sit, let it get rained on, and the rain will kind of pick up the lighter materials and redeposit them elsewhere. So it's kind of self-leveling a little bit when it rains. But if I come back with the cultivator rake after it gets rained on a little while, it'll really smooth this out and make it very good for being a parking area, which is how we use it. So anyway, primary purpose of this video was to share with you the float function and doing that back drag with the float function, and you can see how it really works well. It's pretty impressive how it's just able to, contour to the ground and deposit these wood chips, deposit these piles of wood chips and spread these piles of wood chips out over a bigger area. Well, welcome new subscribers. Thanks for following along. Thanks for watching. Hope you continue to follow our journey here as we build our Christmas tree farm from the ground up. That's going to wrap it up for me today. Thanks again, guys. Hope you have a good one. I'll see you on the next video.